Hi guys, as requested I'm going to review the video What I Eat Every Week to Stay Healthy by Matt Diavella.
Creating a consistent, healthy eating habit can be a challenge. That's why I create structure by cycling through the same meals almost every day. Instead of reinventing what I eat each day, I stick with the basics that I love. Don't worry though, it's not nearly as boring as it sounds. Okay, maybe it is. So I want to share with you a day in the life of what I eat.
Wow, looking super healthy. Heavy bags under the eyes, dark eye circles, super pale.
I'll be providing some different examples for alternatives that I use to keep things interesting and to add variety, but this has been my primary diet for the past couple of years, and it's worked out really well for myself. Now, one big caveat, this is what works for me. These are specific to my goals, which are helping me to stay
But it doesn't work for you. I wonder what he's gonna eat.
energized throughout the day, giving my body what it needs for my workouts, and also improving my longevity and hopefully increasing my life.
Okay.
Knock on wood. Now, when it comes down to it, your goals, your preferences might be completely different, so use this as inspiration, see what works for you, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to experiment for yourself to figure out what diet is best for you. All right, let's get into it. This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
Actually, there's only one natural human diet, which means that there's only one healthy diet out there. There is no such thing as what works for you.
So for much of the past year, I've been inadvertently practicing intermittent fasting. It wasn't something that I set out to do, but it works really well for my schedule. By fasting from 14 to 16 hours each day, we're giving our bodies a chance to rest.
Call it what it really is. Intermittent starvation. When you say starvation and not fasting, then people may think, you starve yourself for 14 hours a day? Why? But of course, when you use a trendy term, fasting, then it just sounds different, like it could actually be healthy. As if there's any way at all that starving could ever be healthy.
Improves our metabolic health, it increases our longevity, and it can even improve our gut health as well.
No proof for any of that. And for sure, you're not going to increase your longevity. If you eat your natural diet of raw meat, organs, etc., drink blood, then of course you wouldn't eat as much. And in that sense, you would increase your longevity, but not by literally eating yourself, which in every way only decreases your lifespan, of course. Because if you would eat your natural diet, then you would be consuming what you are consuming when you're starving, which is yourself, a raw animal. So stupid.
There's a lot of great science to back it up. Those health benefits are good and well, but that's not the real reason why I do it. I do it because I found through trial and error that I just feel better not having a big breakfast in the morning. Some days though, I do snack on granola, cereal, and oatmeal. This is really only if...
Yeah, but if you eat garbage like this, then of course you don't want breakfast sometimes, because it's incredibly hard to digest, it's heavy on your gut, it's just not appetizing, not fun to eat in any way at all. And what it is empty fiber with carbohydrates, which turn into sugar in the body. So you're eating fiber and sugar with no nutrients. Absolutely the worst thing you could eat, basically.
If I'm doing something physically demanding in the morning, but for the most part, I usually don't eat anything until 12 p.m. Coffee, water, that's primarily what I consume up until then. If I stop eating around 9 p.m., that gives me about 15 hours.
Okay, that's why you look the way you look, and it's not sustainable. No way you can starve yourself forever, obviously.
Hours of intermittent fasting, at which point I'm ready for my first meal. Now, what are you making me for lunch?
We are going to do a avocado chicken salad inside of pita. It's going to be super healthy.
Natalie usually makes this for me because she's amazing in the kitchen, and yes, I'm contractually obligated to say that.
We're actually going to poach the chicken, which I believe is the healthiest way to cook chicken. Zero oil involved.
There is no healthy way to cook chicken anyway. Cooking food makes it harder to digest, destroys the nutrients. There's just no point. And of course, she's going to say that the avocado is probably the healthy fat.
It's really just boiling the chicken. We're going to add in some non-fat Greek yogurt, just plain. What that does is add some creaminess and just bulks up the sauce a little bit.
What is that tool?
This is
Pretty much what I said. Why would you not add the fat? The fat has the fat-soluble vitamins, and the fat is what your cells are made out of, and so on. buying something low fat, and when it's pasteurized already anyway, is just incredibly ignorant. Okay, this is mental illness, because what she did there is add chicken, which has no fat, but then she adds the avocado because she's been brainwashed by the plant-based agenda to use some avocado, which has basically no micronutrients except for some minerals such as potassium, oil, which is basically useless for humans. Okay, it's monounsaturated, which is better than most of the polyunsaturated stuff that people eat, but still, what the body of course wants, for the most part, is saturated fat from animals. Yes, that's where actual fat comes from, not these liquid oils, which is what you get from the plants. And then she adds the low-fat yogurt, but says that adds creaminess to the food, admitting that she wants something creamy, which means that she wants animal fat, yet she does all of this? It makes no sense at all.
Done.
You should try it just to make sure, you know.
So Natalie's eating for 2 right now, but it's not because she's pregnant.
Doesn't look like she could be pregnant.
Thank you.
Ever in her life.
My secret weapon for my diet are my green smoothies. I have these just about every day. They're great right in the middle of the day. They give me a lot of energy, the vitamins and the nutrients that I need to keep me going.
Gives you energy? No, that's just adrenaline, for example, because of how toxic the green smoothies are. And of course, then he says nutrients, vitamins, but he can't name anything because green smoothies have a vitamin C, essentially. That's as far as the vitamins go. And then you can argue that it has plant versions of the B vitamins, but all of the vitamins necessary for health, they are not found in plants at all.
To keep me focused on my work. So the recipe is really simple. I start with 1 cup of water for the base, then I add lots and lots of spinach. By the way, this Vitamix blender, it's absolutely a beast, and one of the first...
Incredibly toxic. You're going to ruin your kidneys because of the oxalates.
First purchases I made when I moved out of my parents' house about 8 years ago. Definitely worth the investment. Then I cut up 2 apples and 1 orange, making sure to keep as much of the white part of the...
You know why he does that? Because the spinach alone would taste disgusting. How do we know that? Because our natural senses tell us not to eat green toxic leaves.
Peel as possible since it's packed with fiber and vitamin C. It actually has 2 to 3 times the vitamin content as the inner fruit itself.
Adding fiber to your diet when you can't even digest it, again, is just stupid and ignorant. What else can you call it? And even if it would have more vitamin C, you couldn't even get to it because it's in the fiber. And if you're going to use this mixer, then you're going to destroy it anyway.
And then I'll top it off with 2 bananas.
More sweetness.
I always batch my smoothies by making 3 or 4 smoothies at a time and storing them in these green shaker.
People like this never even think, why do I add all of this fruit and whatever to the green leaves, the spinach, if that's healthy?
I always try to have them within 2 days of making them. These days I work...
It's just a bunch of sugar and oxalates. That's it, you're going to destroy your organs and have fun with heart disease and diabetes. Literally, that's it.
Out around 2 p.m. or so to break up my day and to get my body moving in the middle of the day because I spend so much time at home. And during these workouts, I always drink a plant-based protein shake. This Vega Sport is my go-to, but I also change it up depending upon what's on sale at Whole Foods. Always chocolate flavored though. I go with a plant-based protein shake because I have a bit of a dairy sensitivity. I can have some dairy like Greek yogurt, but I have tried many of the dairy options when it comes to protein shakes and it tends to upset my stomach, so I avoid it when I can.
Doesn't necessarily mean that you have a problem with dairy. It's possible, but of course when you eat a non-natural extracted powder form of dairy, then you may get problems. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about snacks. One of the biggest things I've done for my diet is to reduce the amount of snacks that I bring into the home. Our snack cabinet usually looks like this. Most of the time the cabinet is filled with nuts, seaweed, and popcorn. We try to keep our snacks as low cal as possible. Every once in a while we bring in the
But how does this matter? The oats that you ate before were fiber and sugar. That's what all of the snacks are too. They also have no nutrients and are loaded with anti-nutrients, which he's probably not going to mention.
trail mix and other kinds of nice snacks, but we try to do it in moderation because some of these snacks I'll go through in a day. It's 1,200 calories. I end up feeling like shit. And so it usually doesn't fulfill me in the same way that healthy snacks do. Now, dinner is the ultimate variable and the one meal each day that changes on a daily basis. When I'm making dinner by myself at home, I usually keep it very simple. I'll have my main source of protein. That's either chicken, steak, or fish. I'll have a side of quinoa or...
Also, notice how he says main source of protein. Again, maybe they really believe that it's a better source of protein, but meat has every nutrient, and most likely, except if you eat eggs, you're not gonna get vitamins A, D, K2 from anywhere else. He doesn't eat dairy. So that's his only source of the fat-soluble vitamins, which are essential for health. Yet he probably believes that it's for protein only. And maybe if he eats lean chicken breast, then it is so, but it looks like he's going to eat a steak.
Rice, and I'll have another side of vegetables. That's pretty much it. I try to keep it as simple as possible. I can get creative.
Leave out the rice and the vegetables and you would have a somewhat healthy meal.
Now, tonight I'm going to be making a steak. I'm going to be using Tim Ferriss's recipe from the 4-Hour Chef. It's one that I use pretty much every time I make steak, and it's really tasty. Simply season the steak with salt and pepper, throw it on a...
Steak itself is tasty. There's no need for seasoning. But hey, okay, he's gonna eat meat. That's great. As you can see there, fat, which has the fat-soluble vitamins.
Piping hot skillet, get a good sear going to caramelize and hold in all those flavors. Then put the steak on a bed of rosemary.
Really, you're just creating carcinogens, but okay.
And throw it in the oven at 350 degrees.
That's
After
strange.
about 10 minutes or so, flip the steak to make sure it cooks evenly on both.
Yeah, now you ruin it with the oven. If you cooked it for some seconds, 30 to 60 on both sides, and ate it, then it would still be somewhat raw in the middle, and then you would be getting some proper amount of nutrients out of it. Now, not so much, not even the protein, because it has been denatured, and as proven in studies, it's just destroyed and you can't absorb it anymore. It's just not there anymore, the amino acids.
Sides and add a little bit of butter on top. This will create an amazing jus at the end. Natalie taught me that word.
Okay, that's nice. I get that it's pasteurized butter, and even if it wouldn't be, then he would destroy it with the heat, but still, that's nice to see.
Then I put a cooking thermometer in the steak and wait until it hits 125 degrees.
Too much
While the
cooking,
steak
way
rests
too
for 5
much.
minutes, I prepare the rest of my sides. I typically try to get as much unprocessed food as possible, but this frozen rice is just too easy to say no to. Throw it in the microwave, 3 minutes.
Microwave.
And we're good to go. And then I'll saute up some kale, squeeze some lemon, salt.
Kale is one of the most toxic plants out there. This guy. He totally fell for it. And of course, add some lemon, some spices, because he sees this and he knows, I don't want to eat it. I'm going to now cook it to death and cover it up and somehow swallow it.
And pep, Bob's your uncle. And of course, don't forget to make use of that jus. I'll cut up the steak, plate half for today, and...
But look, man, the kale is basically unrecognizable. Every sense in your body tells you not to eat it. This is what mind control looks like. You know that it's already destroyed. There's no point in eating it, yet you're gonna get those goitrogens and oxalates for no reason.
Save half for dinner tomorrow night. Medium rare. You know what's maximum rare? Beautifully designed websites. That's why I've been using Squarespace for years.
Alright, it still looks okay-ish. Try eating rare and then eat some pieces raw. Maybe you have tried sashimi in your life, carpaccio. Just eat a steak raw.
Pretty good. Whether you're building a personal brand, starting a podcast...
Yeah, I didn't see him put the kale in his mouth and say, pretty good.
This is kind of the core of my daily diet. Now, if there's one thing that I'm going to experiment with more in the future, it's going to be likely reducing the amount of meat in my diet. Now, I know this is probably going to be one of the top few comments. I know there's a lot of really passionate...
That's incredibly obvious. You already eat like somebody who's gonna be vegan in the future, basically. You completely fell for the trap. Why do you think they are coming out with synthetic beef, impossible burgers, and so on? You just listen to the media way too much.
Vegan and vegetarians in the audience, which is amazing. I did do vegan for 30 days. This was before I even really started the YouTube channel. I might experiment with that again. I do want to experiment with just kind of pulling back a little bit more, maybe having meat-free days or meat-free nights, whatever it is, trying to increase the amount of vegetables I eat and cut down on meat just because it's better for the planet.
You already look terrible. You're going to look even worse. So now he says it's better for the planet. Where's the proof for that? Any at all? You're gonna name some documentary? Just search the documentary debunked, because all of them have been debunked.
And it may make me feel better. We'll see. That's what experimenting is all about. Anyway, thanks so much for watching.
What an absolute tool. It's just perfect for them to have people like this who already promote starvation anyway, fasting, and then eat a plant-based diet and talk about going vegan or at least reducing meat. Plants don't have over 50 nutrients. Nobody can go vegan longer than a few years, and then there's a bunch who die or end up cheating and so on. As you can see, there's tons of ex-vegans out there. If it was really good for us to reduce meat, then you would think that people would just stick to veganism or at least even to plant-based diets and would eat like that their whole life. But they don't, because they can't, because it's a man-made diet. And this is exactly what I meant at the start of the video. There is no such thing as this is good for you and this is good for you and just experiment. No. Eat your natural diet. Humans in nature eat raw meat, they drink blood, maybe they eat some fruit here and there if they live in a tropical climate or seasonally in summer and a bit in autumn. That's about it though, and most of it is bitter, sour, and basically inedible. Then you can get some seafood, of course, and so on, but overall, it's raw animal foods. None of this stuff, what he showed for the most part in the video, is cultivated, as in man-made. And that's a synonym for unnatural. He's literally showing you an unnatural diet and says that this is what keeps him healthy. It makes zero sense. Alright guys, thanks for watching.